Hello, welcome to Challenge Charlie. Now I'm still in Peru, this is the second of my challenges here, and I'm actually sitting at the moment in Choquequirao, which is known as the last city of the Incas. Now to get here it's taken me about 2.5 days, 2.5 days in and 2.5 days out. It's a very different hike to the Inca Trail. If you come to this part of the world, you can do this trek from Cusco just like you can do the Inca Trail, and yeah, very different hike. The Inca Trail was quite tame and quite touristy. I found this a lot nicer. The ruins are obviously in nowhere near as nice shape as Machu Picchu, but they're kind of more believable, I guess, as ruins. The problem with Machu Picchu is that it's being constantly revitalised. Everything's being refurbished and everything's being sort of put back together. So you never really know what's real and what's not. Whereas here, I think this is about as real as it gets for Incan ruins. And it's just been nice to be off the Gringo Trail, to be honest. One of the problems on Machu Picchu is you do feel a bit like a lemming. I mean, there were a lot of times when I couldn't see another traveller, couldn't see another walker, which was really good. But there were also a lot of times where I felt like I was in a queue to get to the top of a hill. So this has been really nice. It's a very different walk, like I said. What happens is you get driven about 3 hours out of Cusco to a starting point, which is a little village, just sort of, I don't know, maybe 30 kilometres away from here. I think we're about 35 kilometres. I'm afraid I don't know the name of the village. Again, it's one of those things I'm going to have come across the bottom of the screen. It begins with a C. I'm not very good with Peruvian names. But yeah, so once we got to that village, it was then about an hour and a half of undulating, sort of ups and downs, nothing too strenuous. Then a very steep downhill. I think we went down about 1,500 metres down to the river, and we camped maybe 200 metres above the river. And the next day we went down to the river, across the river, and then back up the other side, which was something ridiculous, like 1,700 metres up. It was actually a really nice hill compared to Dead Women's Pass, which is the steepest part of the Inca Trail. I actually found this a lot easier. It's not separate stones, so you don't have to think about where you're putting your feet, which was nice. It was just a gentle hill. I say gentle. It was a smooth hill. It was still probably about 45-degree angle, but yeah, it was kind of the type of hill that you can plod up, which is the kind of walking I like. So that took me about 2.5 hours, I think. I think it takes some people maybe 5 hours to get up. But yeah, quite a nice gentle hill, and that's meant to be the worst day. And from then we had about another hour of again, undulating. They like that word over here. They call it Andean flat, i.e. lots of uphill. But yeah, we had an undulating path to our campsite, which I can actually see from here. Now I'm actually sitting on one of the walls of Choquequirao. From my little seating point, I can show you. Over there is the path. Can you see that? There. That's the path that I walked along. So that's the undulating bit I was telling you about. And let me see if I can find this for you. Down there in the valley, let's have a zoom in. That's actually our campsite. Can you see the bright yellow tent here? Try and point it out for you. There is a giant, my fingers, sorry, I'm zoomed in so much you can't see my finger. There's a bright yellow tent there, and next to that tent is a red tent, which is actually my tent. So that's quite exciting that we can see that from here. And as you can see, the ruins around me are beautiful. And yeah, like I said, they're just really genuine. Up on the hill over there is the Temple of the Sun, I think. I haven't actually visited yet, so I shall tell you a little bit about it later. But yeah, that's where we're going to go up and spend this evening. So we're going to go up there for nightfall. But yeah, I shall get back in the sunshine for you. Turn around again. Yeah, I've really enjoyed this walk. It's easier than I was expecting. I think I expected sort of the Andes to be a bit more difficult than this. So far, the hardest trekking I think I've done while I've been here was probably Choquequirao, and that was mainly to do with what I had in my pack. Again, this is a tourist trek, you know, even though we're off the beaten trail, it's still a tourist trek. This one that I'm doing is run by Gap, and it's not quite as swish as the Inca Trail, but we still do have a lunch tent. We haven't been using it the whole time, but we've got a lunch tent. We still have serviettes and a little silver holder on the table, which just doesn't feel like trekking to me. We have, you know, hot water bowls, cold water bowls to wash our hands and our feet. I'm barely carrying anything in my pack, you know. it's very touristy trekking. I suppose it's quite a good beginner place to trek. If you try the Inca Trail, I mean that would be the perfect starter trek, I think. And if you try the Inca Trail and you think, oh, I want something a little bit more challenging, then I think this would be for you. Unfortunately, we actually lost 2 members of our group yesterday, so saying it's easy, it's obviously not too easy. One of the girls had a problem with her stomach, so she actually took the ambulance mule. One of the big differences between this trek and the Inca Trail is that we don't have porters carrying our stuff, we have mules carrying our stuff, and it means that we have an ambulance mule that follows us up the hill. And yeah, so she had to go back on donkey back down to that village that I was telling you about, which was a very long way away, and her friend that she was travelling with decided she was going to go with her too. So our group has depleted from 5 to 3, which is a bit of a shame. But yeah, I think probably one of the shame, like something that is a bit of a shame about this walk, is just that we're going to have to do the same walk back out again. I kind of like seeing different stuff, and it is a little bit demoralising when you come down a hill knowing that you're going to have to go up that same hill, you know, in a couple of days' time. But then likewise, obviously when you go up a hill, you know, you get to go down it. We're going to have quite an easy day tomorrow, I think. We're going to go back down that big hill I was talking about, but then we're going to have to go back up the other side, which I think we're going to have to get up at 3 in the morning to do, which I have to admit I'm not looking massively forward to doing, but we'll see how it goes. Yeah, so 3 o'clock wake up call on the last day, back up that horrendous hill. Yeah, nice walk all in all, I think. Definitely something I would recommend doing. I shall take a look around the ruins and see what else I've got to show you. Oh, there is one more thing actually. Now this challenge, as you know, on Challenge Charlie, normally I ask you guys to give me the challenges, but Choquequirao was actually a real personal challenge for me. A couple of years ago I watched a programme called Extreme Dreams with Ben Fogle. Now Ben Fogle is a bit of a hero of mine. I would love to have his job, or be the female version of him. And I remember watching the show and thinking it looked like a really cool trek, because they were trekking through jungle into this ruins, which obviously you don't do on the Inca Trail at all. You know, the Inca Trail is just a dirt path basically through the mountains. There is a little bit more jungle on the trek that we've just done. I mean, we just went down to the lower sections of the ruins, which was a very steep up and down from our campsite, just to go and see sort of the terraces where they used to do their farming. But yeah, we haven't really encountered a great deal of jungle. Obviously, the nice thing about these ruins is that they're still set in a lot of foliage and there's a lot of greenery around, which I actually like a lot more than I did at Machu Picchu, and there's not millions and millions of tourists in all of my pictures, which is nice. But it does seem a very different walk to the one I actually saw on Extreme Dreams. So I would say that there is actually another walk you can do to Choquequirao, which may well have been the one I actually walked, the one I actually saw on television. Now that trail goes from Machu Picchu to here. It's a 10-day trek, and it's basically over that mountain range that I've been showing you. So I don't know if that's a little bit less walked, you know, so the path isn't so wide, but I definitely saw people kind of hacking through the jungle, and that was kind of the walking I was expecting. But Challenge Charlie is about to go to Ecuador. I'll be there in a couple of weeks' time, and I'm going to be doing some jungle trekking there. So if I can kind of find anything that's really worthy enough of a Challenge Charlie challenge, then I'll film that for you. So hopefully we can do something in the Ecuadorian jungle. Right, I'm off to explore these ruins. I shall see you again soon.